All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dudes and dudettes. We have ourselves a guy that he looks maybe look a little familiar to you over here. He's very handsome. He's an ageless wonder. I'm telling you, he's been doing this for a very, very long period of time, and we are very, very excited to have him with us. And there he's back. He wanted to make a dramatic entrance, ladies and gentlemen. WKYC Channel 3 Sports Director Jay Crawford. How are you doing?
What up, dude? I think that's the proper greeting, right?
That's it. Hey, dude. Yeah. Hey, you got it. Someone finally.
Wonderful.
Mom, I made it. Called me a dude.
I'm in the dude club for sure. Have been my whole life, so I understand it.
Yes. Now you're part of the Dude Network, based out of Cleveland, Ohio. And
do you know about the shoes called Hey Dude?
No, but I feel like I should. That sounds like a partnership waiting to happen. It sounds like a perfect.
Listen, here's what I'm going to tell you. Go online. Google them, order a pair. You will never buy another pair of comfort shoes again.
Okay.
And I'm not getting paid by them. I'm a consumer, and I love the shoes. They fit the vibe. They got a great look to them, but most importantly, they weigh about 2 ounces a piece, and they couldn't be more comfortable. And I do a lot of boating, and this summer I probably saw in the thousands of guys wearing the Hey Dudes. So check them out.
It seems like a perfect fit. I'm fat and I got 2 left feet, so that sounds pretty magical.
It's a match made in heaven, brother.
Yeah, when I walk, it sounds like 2 ping pong battles. Slap, 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 slap. So yeah, that sounds really, really nice.
You'll like them.
Well, at least we're smiling. Obviously, we're talking the day after a really tough Browns game against the Chargers. I wanted to bring you on to talk about the Browns because it's a rare season for Browns fans at least since the one since '99. Realistic expectations, and we've really backed the hype. I felt through 5 weeks even. I'm curious to get your takes on yesterday's game against the Chargers. Obviously, a really tough defeat all the way on the other side of the country, back-to-back road games in 2 tough environments. We're getting a little dinged up. What was your thoughts on the game that was yesterday, other than it was just a phenomenal football game?
It was, look, if nothing else, you were entertained for 3.5 hours. It was very entertaining. I felt, not just because of the pinball score that was being put on the scoreboard, but because of the coaching, that I was playing Madden with my brother and nothing at stake. Yeah, 4th and 2, I'm going. Yeah, 4th and 7, let's pick this up. Yeah, I'm not punting. Why would anybody punt? Because it's Madden. And when the game's over, you turn it off and you go have your meal and that's it.
Or if you lose, you just restart it.
These young gun coaches are coaching like they're playing Madden. And it makes sense because that they grew up playing the video game. And they know the analytics. And they know that if it's 4th and 2, and you're averaging 6 yards of play, that the analytics tell you to go for it, regardless of the situation. The line of scrimmage only matters if it's inside either 5. Okay? Outside of that, 2 yards is 2 yards. The playbook is open. If you're going to go for it, go for it. If you're not, then kick. But yesterday we saw what happens when a team has faith in their offense, and they also know that the defense on the other side can't stop them. You just keep going. And the one time the Browns were able to stop them, the back judge decides he's going to throw a penalty and call defensive pass interference on Green when it was clear to anybody with 2 eyes. If you run that play to 100 high school referees, 100, and you tell them, call this, they're going to call it. And you don't know what the situation is. Could be the first play of the game. Could be the last play of the game. Doesn't matter. Why does that matter? I heard a lot of people yesterday on Twitter saying, well, you're never going to call pass interference on a Hail Mary. Really? Why not? Because the pass interference they called on Green was the equivalent of a Hail Mary.
Yes. And it was
a Hail Mary with a lot of time on the clock. But if they don't get it, they're giving the Browns plus field position and a chance to make it a 2-score game. And it's a Hail Mary in that situation. So don't give me, oh, you're never going to call it in that situation. If it's pass interference, it's pass interference. I read the rule last night. And nowhere in there was there parentheses after the description of the rule where it said, unless the play is in the end zone and there are zeros on the clock. Well, watch the video and tell me Njoku wasn't tackled.
Yes.
He was knocked off of his feet, and look at where the ball landed. the ball landed exactly where Njoku should have been standing.
Oh, you mean
Beautiful
Baker threw an accurate pass?
Yeah.
That goes against the narrative, Jay.
Yeah,
that goes against the narrative. He's an inaccurate quarterback. He's not good enough.
Yeah. You know what? I say you're right. Cut him and call Deshaun Kaiser.
Yep. Let's go.
Bring back Brady Quinn. I watch him on TV. He looks young enough, fit enough. Bring him back. He was great, wasn't he? Johnny Manziel.
Hey, Cody Kessler.
Back.
Let's get some baby carrots. Let's get some baby carrots up here.
The list is 25 long. And so what drives me nuts is you got the Baker haters who, after the guy goes 23 of 32 for 305 and 305 yards, 2 touches, no interceptions, somehow this is Baker's fault. Let me give you a stat. This is going to blow your mind, Tony.
Woo, let's go, baby. Blow me away, Jay. I'm ready. You got me hyped.
The NFL, since its existence, teams that score 42 points and commit 0 turnovers are 442-0 until now.
That's the Browns. It's so Browns.
The only time in league history that a team has scored 42 points without turning the ball over and lost.
There's some stats that this is so clear.
But this is Baker's fault. This is Baker's fault, though.
Hey,
I mean, this is absolutely
sucks.
So here's the thing. Okay, everybody wants to play the blame game. That's why, Twitter, come on, But let's just entertain the crowd for a second.
Okay.
If you want to play the blame game, and you're saying any of the following, the pass interference call was the reason the Browns lost. Kevin Stefanski's mindless play calling with 3:08 to go was the reason we lost. The Browns defense allowing 47 points was the reason we lost. Baker Mayfield not being able to take the team down the field with 90 seconds and no timeouts to score a touchdown was the reason we lost. If you're of the mindset of any of those 4 camps, you're wrong. Because it's never one thing. It's never one thing. Even if you're down a point and you throw the ball into the end zone and the wide receiver has it in his hands and he drops it. Is it the wide receiver's fault? The outcome of that play,
right.
Yes. But I'll show you in that situation 10 other plays that had someone else executed that ends up being a win.
Right.
So this blame game that we have to play on Twitter is so bad. It stains the look of our fans. If you're a Baker hater, okay. If you're going to present the problem, what's the solution?
Right.
Bench Baker and let's go with Case. How's that going to work? How's that going to work? Because Case Keenum, you can, and nothing against Case, but you can interchange his name with all of that we had in the last 25. Same guy. He's the same guy, So if you're trying to play the blame game and you're saying the reason we lost is, and you're listening after that one thing, I will just tell you, you're wrong. Hate to be that guy, but you are absolutely wrong. The play calling with 3:08 to go was inexcusable. Why is Nick Chubb watching those 3 plays from the bench?
I don't get it.
Please, someone tell me. He's run the ball 21 times for 161 yards. He's averaging just under 8 yards a carry. And he's watching while Kareem Hunt gets 2 carries on the 3 plays, including a 3rd down run.
Even if you take out Nick Chubb's big run, he still averages 5 yards per carry.
Why is he on the bench? You draft a guy like
question.
Nick Chubb to get you the lead, but more importantly, to protect the lead. This is the AFC North. You're going to need a Nick Chubb back in November and December, particularly on the road, because the run game can travel. And for some reason, in these critical situations, I think the Browns owe Nick Chubb an apology today.
I think they owe him several throughout the season, to be honest. Jay.
Yeah,
they've just gotten off lucky a couple times.
They have. And this idea that only one or the other can be in the game, where's that written? And I know that there were plays where both were on the field at the same time, very few. But why can't we put 2 backs on? We're a running team. We're a running team. Let's just newsflash to the NFL. We're going to run the ball. We're number 1 in the NFL in rushing. We are a run-first team. So I don't understand why in that situation you need 2 first downs and you're flying home 4-1 and feeling a whole lot better about yourself today.
Yeah, because
instead, Chubb watched the plays from the sidelines. The only time he came into the game on the last 8 plays was when Hunt got hurt and had to come off for a play. Then they put Chubb out there.
Here's the thought, Jay. Do you think that the Browns take advantage of Chubb's mindset of being an overall team player and know that he won't get upset?
Maybe. I'm not recommending that he turn into OBJ and vocal and start yiping and crying and yelling about it. He's not that guy. Thank God.
He never will
22 players with his mindset and his skill set, Super Bowl every year.
Oh, yeah.
Every year. He's the most selfless player that the Browns have. He's never going to complain. If you were to ask him today, what were your thoughts about being on the bench, Nick? Well, that was the situation that the coach thought that gave us the best chance to win, and I'm for that 100 times out of 100 because he's that guy.
Yep.
But when you're watching the game and you're watching this guy absolutely decimate this defense, particularly on first down when they knew we were going to run.
They were the 32nd ranked rushing defense in the league going into yesterday?
Yeah. And we proved it. We ran all over them. But here's my thing. So let's get a little creative with the play calling. And I know that everybody can say hindsight's 2020. God, my right hand to God. After they scored and missed the extra point, I said, on the very first play, we run a play fake and hit a wide open Njoku over the middle of the field. First of all, our first mistake was we tried to run the kickoff on.
Yes.
So now we start at the 14 instead of the 25. 11 yards of precious field position.
Yes.
If you're going to get conservative and punt the ball away anyhow, those 11 yards turn a 42-yard punt into a 53-yard punt.
Right.
Makes it a little more difficult on a Chargers offense that did not need any help. But we try to run the ball out, despite the fact you never get past the 25 anyhow. Take it, let it go into the end zone, come out on the 25 and start fresh.
Yeah.
No, so we start on the 14. I'm screaming, play fake, play fake. They got 9 guys in the box. If it would ever work, it's right now. Nope. We do exactly what they know we're going to do. Now it's 2nd and 10, right? 2nd and 9. Well, now you got to throw the ball. That's
right.
The thinking now, because now you need more than 4 yards each play to get the first.
Yes.
So defensive coordinators are saying if they need to average more than 4, odds are analytics tell you they're going to throw the ball.
So here's a question.
So we drop back and we throw the ball, and now it's 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
And the game's over.
So here's a question for you, because I think Stefanski's in the analytics has kind of gotten off the hook this year because of the record. If they'd be losing a couple of these games, people would really become, because I think they have left points off the board each and every game this year. And I knew there was going to come a time where it's going to bite Stefanski in the butt. So after the questionable play calling down the stretch, is it safe to say, and I hate to be the negative Nancy here, but I think it's a fair question at this point, do we fully trust Stefanski's play calling?
Well, fully means that you have 100% faith. I can't go that far. No. I think he's the guy. I'm not trying to run him out of town.
Right.
We're lucky to have him because just like I can give you 25 quarterbacks who have been all world bad, I can do the same with the head coaches. Okay. Want Freddie back? Want Freddie back?
You want Hugh? You know? Hey, Browns fans, you want Hugh? We can get Hugh back. Yeah. He's available. Eddie George will let him off his staff.
We've got the guys we need. We have Stefanski. He's a marvelous head coach, a terrific play caller, innovative offense. You saw the underhand conversion pass yesterday. That's Andy Reid. We've got the head coach. Is he perfect? No. We somehow expect him to be, but he's not. I'm sure when he watches that back, he's going to be looking at that sequence saying, maybe I should have called a play action on first down. Maybe I should have had Chubb in the game. If you're going to run it on first down, win or lose with your horse. Right. Okay? Win or lose with the guy who's your leading rusher. And I know that the Hunt and Chubb can do different things, but I saw Chubb the entire game run people over on first down when they were stacking the box.
Even Kareem Hunt.
I mean, the two guys.
Who is Mr. Yards after contact. He's Mr. Yards after contact himself.
Yeah. Well, it didn't work yesterday. So, again, we're 3-2. We've lost to the Chiefs and the Chargers on the road. Okay. Most of the league is going to do that. Most of the league is going to lose to the Chiefs and Chargers on the road. Now, the Bills last night stepped up, and they're clearly in that if you want to have 4 teams, I've got 3 right now.
Okay,
I've
who
got
are they?
the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Bills.
You're throwing the Chargers in there. Okay.
Look, I mean, why not? They've beaten the Chiefs. They've beaten the Browns. This team is legitimate. This is a legitimate. Their defense is suspect, but when you're slinging it around and going for it on 4th down every time and you're 47 points, you're going to beat way more opponents than you lose to. So until the Chargers show me that they don't belong, they're in my AFC top 3 power rankings, and the Browns are not.
Yeah.
They could be if they had beaten the Chiefs like they could have, and if they had beaten the Chargers like they should have. They're 5-0. They're number 1 in my AFC power rankings. But right now, and I think 3A and 3B are the Browns and the Ravens. And I think there's your division. I don't think there's much discussion about that. You look at the other teams in the division. My God, could we have any more 1 or 2 and 3s or 1 and 4s? It's clear who the power teams are. If you want to be included in that discussion, you've got to go and beat some of those power teams. Let's beat Arizona. Let's beat a 5-0. It's in our place. We should beat them. I would imagine we would be slightly favored. But if they lose that one and dip to 3-3, wheels can come off real fast.
They could. Let's talk about that though. The schedule, we got a tough one this week at home against the Cardinals, 5-0. They had a rough game yesterday, which I hate. I was really hoping they'd just blow the doors off San Francisco and come in with that game that's due to be setback. But the Browns fans, they've been waiting 3 games in the 3 weeks now to get back out there and show the support. So it'll be rocking up there at First Energy. But after that game, things open up a little bit. So do you think if the Browns pull off this Arizona with Denver, the Steelers, and Cincinnati, the next 3 games after that, we could realistically, the Browns, I say we because, we're all one big happy family in Northeast Ohio, but the Browns themselves could be sitting themselves, they can still put themselves in the driver's seat. And especially if Baltimore loses tonight, that changes a lot.
It does. But those are all big ifs. In those ifs, You're talking about beating a 5-0, a team that could easily be 4-1. And the Steelers beat the Bills. They're still that team. Okay. And yesterday they finally got their running game going and they look like they're the Steelers. So, look, all of those games, I can make a case for the Browns winning all of those games. I can make a case for us losing all of those games.
Yes.
So here's what I love about Kevin Stefanski. We're just trying to go 1-0. That's what we're trying to do. And against Arizona, they need to go 1-0.
Yep.
And then when Denver comes in, they need to go 1-0. And Cincinnati, look, Cincinnati's not your dad's Cincinnati, okay? Just like we're not your dad's Browns.
I tell you, that was scary yesterday, what they did.
I mean, I know you can say that if the other kicker makes a kick, that the game is over too, but the Bengals had chances to win that kick, that game with kicks, and they didn't do it. And both of them, one hit the upright, one hit the flag. So you're that close to being 4-1. And I'm telling you, anybody that thinks that this is the old Bengals, you're due for a big, big surprise. This offense comes at you with great receivers, a young quarterback that's every bit as good as we thought he was going to be, and a defense that is aggressive. They blitz, they come at you all through the game, and they play very smart. This is a very good football team. I'll tell you, when you look down the road for the Browns, and you consider that they have 3 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, and Baker Mayfield at 26 is the oldest one, this is going to be a whale of a 10-year stretch.
Yes.
It's going to be insane. So
hopefully the Steelers don't figure it out for a few years so we can at least live off that too.
Well, I'll tell you, if we're banking on that, we're making a very big mistake because they'll figure it out. They always have.
They'll trade for Rodgers.
In my lifetime, they've had 3 head coaches: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. They all won Super Bowls. They always figure it out. The organization is a blue blood organization. They know what their formula is. It doesn't change every 6 months. It doesn't change every time you change general manager. They know, the ownership group, they know what they want to do. And every time they have a coach or a GM or a player opening, they go out and find the pieces that fit their puzzle.
Yes.
Not like the Browns. Well, let's hire a defensive coach. Let's hire an offensive coach. Let's hire a 4-3. Let's hire a 5-2.
He interviewed very well. He was a great interview. He'll fit.
He's my guy. He's my guy. But does he fit what you want to do?
Right.
And that's where the Rooneys have this playbook. Okay, it's run and defense. Quarterback that is smart and can make big throws in big spots. Doesn't have to throw for 300 every week. He's not going to be that guy, but he can be if you need him to be. But the blueprint is you run the ball and you play filthy defense. And it's worked for rings.
Yes.
Well, they got 5 of them.
More than we got.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you subscribe to that philosophy, maybe they have 6. Didn't Noel win 4? He win 3.
I'm a trivia guy, but there's some trivia I refuse to take part of.
Yeah, that one I hope I get that answer wrong. But the thing is, they've won because they've had a system and they have openings. Scout, running back, whatever it is. They know running back that can pass protect, that can catch passes, and is a straightforward runner. Give me a Bus. Give me a Franco Harris. These guys all fit the same mold.
Yes.
And now Najee's that guy, by the way. Like he's that guy for the future. They got their running back. And so they're doing it where they're plug and play, and the Browns are like putting a blindfold on, throwing darts in the dark. And you're never going to hit your target that way. So, but now we seem to have figured things out. We've got the right GM. We've got the right head coach. We've got the right quarterback. We've got 2 all-world running backs. Defense is improving, needs to go a long ways. But you look, the injuries yesterday had a lot to do with the 47 points. If we get Clowney out there and we have Ward, if we have Newsome, they're not scoring 47 points. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. So
that's why I think everybody's overreacting on yesterday. We took a great team on the road across the coast down to the wire with we had a right tackle. It's not even a tackle playing tackle.
Yeah.
And Baker, Mr. Succubus quarterback Baker, still figures out a way to hang 42. God, he sucks. I can't wait till we get him out of here.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I wish the hate would stop. I
wish people would remember Trent Dilfer, Jeff Garcia, all that time we drafted that guy called Spurgeon Wynn instead of that guy called, what's his name? Oh, yeah, Tom Brady. We passed on, 8 times that year? So, I think everyone just needs to lock it up, say thank you, Baker. Please stick around. Don't let us run you out of town. And I will
listen, Tony, that's my fear. That is exactly my fear. His wife Emily put a post out there basically confronting all the Baker haters, stating her case. Now, that may not be the best look for Baker. I don't think he needs Emily to come to his defense, but I understand why she would do that. This is the man she loves.
They probably had a chat.
I think that's probably been discussed, but I think she loves Baker so much.
Yes.
I know Emily. She's a wonderful human being. She's watching the person she cares for the most, a person that she sees personally, how much he sacrifices to be great, who has single-handedly helped turn this franchise and the culture around. And here's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is Baker just says, you know what? I'm going to play out my time. And then I'm going to take my chances somewhere else.
Yeah.
I can now pick where I go. And we'll see what happens. I hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, I'm not going to blame him.
Right.
I'm certainly not encouraging him to do that. But you want to play for a fan base that appreciates you. Here's another stat. This one's easy. Brady's in his 22nd season?
A lot.
I think it's his 22nd season. So the freak show that he is, he's won 7 Super Bowls, right? All-time greatest quarterback ever. I don't even think that's an argument anymore. For those that say, wait a minute, Joe Montana, wait a minute. Come on.
He just threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns for the first time ever in his career.
And he's 44.
Yeah. And
So let's stop that carousel and that nonsense. Everybody think that's an intriguing barber. It's not intriguing. It's dumb. Brady's the greatest ever. Period. Done. End of discussion. And he's thrown for more touchdowns post 40 than 90% of the quarterbacks that have ever played the game.
Yeah. What's a worse take? What's a worse take here, Jay? Baker stinks at being a quarterback, or Tom Brady's not the GOAT?
That one.
Okay.
The second one. Look, the first one's pretty bad too, but the second one's all-time bad.
I wanted to test your true. I want to test your fandom there.
And you know what? Right. And here's the thing. It wasn't a discussion after he won his sixth. It wasn't. It was over. It's booked. Forget about it. Name me his Hall of Fame wide receivers that he's played with. Name me his Hall of Fame running backs. He might have a few. I think Gronk is going. You can make a case maybe for Edelman or some other guys. Yeah. But it's not like he's done it with this unbelievable stable of players. It hasn't been that way. The year he had the best wide receiver he's ever had, he went 16-0 and didn't win the Super Bowl because
Randy Moss. That was where I was going. Yeah.
And he didn't win it because of an all-time ridiculous catch and an all-time ridiculous drive. So he's the GOAT, period, end of it. When he went to Tampa Bay, a team that missed the playoffs the previous year, and his new team wins the Super Bowl, and his old team, who made the playoffs the previous year, missed the playoffs, that's the last exhibit that you need.
They didn't
and Your Honor, for my closing argument, I offer to you the 2020 season. End of the discussion. It's over, okay? So, as great as he is, bro, as great as he is, for every season he's won a Super Bowl, he's played two where he didn't.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not the quarterback. It's not just the quarterback, kids.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
You need the run game. You need the defense. You need all the pieces. Can a great quarterback elevate a great team to win a Super Bowl? Or a not elite team to win a Super Bowl? Yeah, I'll give you examples. It's happened, no question. But I will tell you this. If you don't have all of the pieces around you, you can put Tom Brady in with the Jacksonville Jags, and they're not going to win the Super Bowl. Okay? They're not. They've got other issues than quarterback. So
they got a lot.
Just the Baker hate, I'm telling you, it's all going to be well and good until he comes out in the media and when his contract is up and says, "I'm not negotiating with the Browns. I'm thankful for my time here, but I'm ready to move on." I promise you this: there will be no shortage of suitors for Baker Mayfield.
Oh no, I think
and then we can go back to the Deshaun Kaisers.
Do you think Denver Broncos would take Baker Mayfield right now, Jay?
Sure.
Okay, there you are. You're back.
There's a lot of teams.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that would take Baker Mayfield right now. I think there's a lot of teams that would take Baker Mayfield right now, and they would never look back. For every team that has a great quarterback, there's two that don't. I think there's 10 great quarterbacks in the NFL, and then I think there's 20 that are game managers, they're adequate, or they're just never going to get the job done. Is Baker in the top 5? Nope, he's not in the top 5. Is Baker in the top 10? I can make an argument either way. He is, and he is not. The one thing I need to see from Baker is I want to see some last-minute drives to win games.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I need to see that. And I believe we will see that. But I need to see more of that. He's done it. He beat Cincinnati last year on a last-second throw. He's had big clutch drives in games. These people that say he's, never won a big game. I counted the Pittsburgh game at the end of the regular season game as a playoff game because it was win or you're out. And then the next week, another game at Pittsburgh, he won that. He doubled up. He did it twice in 2 weeks. And you think the fan base would say, okay, you've got some house money now. You've got an extended honeymoon. But here we are, 5 games in. We're 3-2. We've lost to the Chargers and the Chiefs on the road in games that easily we could have won. One of them, we scored 42 points, and the Baker haters are out.
Yeah. It's a wild thing. I think everyone keeps forgetting that Trent Dilfer 1-1 with the Ravens and Brad Johnson 1-1 with the Buccaneers, and we can say
I was at both of those Super Bowls.
Of course you would be, Jay. You've that was actually one of the questions I got for you down here in the end in the rapid fires. One of the coolest things you got to do. But yeah, if those two guys can win Super Bowls, Baker Mayfield can win a Super Bowl, especially with the defense and the skill makers that they're building around him.
You bet.
So, all right. So we got the big one here on Arizona. What's your take on this? What do you think happens? Let's play fun. Let's play predictions here. What's going to happen Sunday?
I think the Browns bounce back, and I think they beat Arizona. I think they better. I'm not just saying that because they need it. They absolutely have to, but I just think they have the better team. I understand that Kyler Murray is an explosive quarterback. I understand that he's going to put points on the board. I just think that we can score more. And I think it'll be a very similar game to the one we saw yesterday. Maybe not, 89 points, but I think you could expect to see over 70. I wouldn't be surprised with a 38-35 or something like that. But right now, I have this one as a win. So far, I've correctly called all of the Browns' first 5 games. I said they'd lose at Kansas City, and I said they'd lose at San Diego. But I also believe that they're going to come back, and they're going to, First Energy is going to be electric. And I think they're going to win the game. Hopefully some of these injured pieces get healthy again. I'm not sure if we get Jarvis back or not. I know it's been 3 weeks, and that's what you have to be on IR for, but I don't know if he's ready. But I hope he is. We'll see. We'll find out. But I think it's for all those reasons that I just mentioned, because it is such a big game for the Browns. Don't want to fall to 3-3. You just do not want to do that. And then you got a short week to get ready for another good team. So, win this one, beat Denver, exhale. You're 5-2. You got a couple of big games upcoming, and you move on from there.
Yeah, want to know. And I'm going to go with you. Yes, want to know. I'm going to go with 28-24 Browns win. I think Baker, and I think they score a late touchdown to make it interesting. That's what I think. That's the pure Browns answer in me on that. I think Jock, if he's healthy, that's going to give Kyler Murray fits because he is a game changer on closing out on tackles.
Well, we need him out there. That's for sure. We need him out there.
And Juju Smith-Schuster, the breaking news this morning on IR, probably out for the rest of the year with a knee injury. So now Jay, the Dude Network's breaking news.
Wow.
We might be small, but we're mighty.
All right, that's big. That's big.
They fear
that
he's out, but he's out for 3 weeks. He is on IR, so he will be out for the Browns game.
Yeah.
So TikTok is going to have a lot of TikTok. It's going to have some extra time in the spa room. So, all right. So we got done saying it. You've been down in the beautiful confines of Hazard, Kentucky. You and I both started our professional careers in the coal fields down there, and you've covered Super Bowls. So you've got to experience a lot of cool stuff. You've got to interview a lot of people. I want to ask you 2 questions here, Jay. If this one play the best of Jay Crawford here. Best interview you've ever gotten to do. Like the guy, though, like one that's like, man, that was an unbelievable conversation. I'll never have anything like that again.
I got to tell you, that's really tough.
That's
really tough. Magic Johnson was always my favorite interview.
Okay.
Just because he's one of my favorite people. Obviously, I'm not a Michigan State fan or a Lakers fan, but I've always been a huge fan of his style. Someone told me before I interviewed him the first time that don't be caught off guard, but he's going to ask you as many questions as you ask him. That's who he is. He's genuinely curious about people. So I said, okay. So I was ready for that. So I met him. Magic, Jay, nice to meet you. I watch you guys every morning. I know who you are. I think you guys do a great job. I love Cold Pizza. It's one of my favorite shows. Okay. He's starting off on the right foot. Big complimentary guy. Then he says, so tell me about your journey. And I tell him from Ohio, Sandusky, he knew Cedar Point.
Okay. Yep.
I told him I went to Bowling Green. He's like, close to Michigan. If you ever want to defect. Where'd you start your career? Small station in Kentucky. I went to Connecticut. I went to Columbus, Tampa, ESPN. He was curious about all of it. Tell me about your family. Married, wife, Tracy, 2 kids. Tell him the whole deal. What are their names? Done. We chat for maybe 10, 15 minutes. We do the interview. He was unbelievable in the interview, forthcoming, answered questions honestly, transparently, didn't give you the prototypical, and then like
the smoke blowing
interview,
blowing a bunch of smoke. Yeah.
You asked him controversial questions and he gave you real answers, and I love that. I always appreciated that. When we were done, little dap up, nice to meet you. I'll continue to watch. If I'm ever in New York, I'm coming back on the show. Okay, great. So we probably had him in 5 times. I don't know. Every time I met him, he walks in the room. Jay, how are you? Haven't seen you since April. How's Tracy?
Oh, man.
How's Corey?
Wow.
How's Kirsten? He knew my son's a long jumper. How's he doing in the long jump?
Isn't that crazy?
Is he going to make the Olympics? Like, this guy meets 1,000 people a week. He wasn't taking notes. I was standing there with him the whole time. We did the interview 15 minutes. Maybe he went off somewhere and put it in a Blueberry. I don't know. Or an email. I don't know what he did. But he clearly cared enough, even if he didn't remember it and he had to recall it 8 months later when I saw him again. He knew it. And every time I ever interviewed him or ever ran into him anywhere, and there were some social settings that I ran into him, either at Super Bowls or parties or whatever, he knew, he remembered. And, to me, there's no more sure way to connect with the person than to genuinely care about that person.
Right.
Not to superficially say, hey, yeah, really nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And then that's it. He cared so much. He's a curious soul. He wants to know everyone's story. Everyone has one. And so he was one of my all-time favorite interviews. Outside of sports, I'm a huge U2 fan. I've seen them live a number of times. Before, in the year U2 played in the Super Bowl, and I can't remember if 05, 06, 04, maybe, I can't remember what year it was. Everybody at ESPN knew I was a huge, huge U2 fan and Bono fan. And his people had agreed to do one interview with ESPN ahead of the Super Bowl. And our producers were like, well, God, man, Jay will tell you everything about this guy. He should be the guy to interview him. So I flew to Philly for the interview. And, I tried not to fanboy out too much. I just told him that I was at a show of yours in Cleveland that was in a 4,000 seat venue and it was half empty in 1981. And I think that more than anything, at that point, okay, this guy's not a Joshua Tree fan. This guy is a long-term diehard. If he spent good money to see U2, who at the time was really off the radar. I mean, they weren't even a blip yet. And the house was half empty. And I think, he definitely appreciated that. And the interview was like 20 minutes. We touched on everything, social issues, sports. He's not a big football fan. He admittedly said, I don't know much about American football.
He doesn't scream NFL.
No, he did nothing about Bono screams NFL, but he couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Right.
It was just super cool. And at the end of the interview, I'm still wearing my mic and our camera was still rolling. He didn't know that, but we're, getting up and exchanging our pleasantries. And he's like, hey, mate, I got to tell you, man, I don't know what was going on there. I hate doing interviews. I don't like them at all. And I don't know what was going on there, but there was absolutely a connection, man. I just felt really comfortable. And that was one of the best interviews I've ever done. So the funny thing to me was our producer didn't tell me that they were rolling. I had no idea that was captured. After we got back to New York, a couple days after the interview, there was a tape sitting on my desk. No label on it, knowing that I would be like, what the hell is this? And put it in a player. So I found a VHS player. I put it in and it was the last 45 seconds of the interview. And then the conversation that happened afterwards. And it was one of those moments where I was almost like out of body. I was just like, to me, it sounded like the Peanuts phone character. Wah, 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 wah. But when I had the chance to listen back to it, I was just like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool, man. That's like my musical idol just telling me that I did a really good job with the interview. And it was I was humbled by it for sure. So Bono and Magic certainly come to mind, but man, there have been some others that just, wow, a lot of them over the years.
You ever sit back and just pinch yourself and just be like, wow, what a life, what a blessing that my life, like the opportunity. I mean, good for you, man. Like, but it's just talking to you here. I mean, it's be good, do good things happen. That's what I live by. Listen, it seems like you're about the same guy, Jay. You seem pretty dudes. Real,
we're dudes.
We're dudes.
And you know what, dudes, dudes subscribes to Karma Law.
And we drink beer.
Oh, we drink beer. We're dudes. Here's the Karma Law. You ready for this, Tony?
Yes.
You're born with a credit card and it's got zero balance on it.
Okay.
Zero.
And
you die with that credit card. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
And through your life, based on the deeds that you do, the people that you help, the things that you do that better society instead of making it an uglier place, for all of those acts of kindness, you get karma equity and you get a balance that builds up on your karma credit card. And as a result, things that happen to you in your life are sometimes cashing in those karma points. And I'm a perfect example of that. Am I capable? Yeah, I'm a capable on-air personality.
Absolutely.
There are 50,000 capable on-air personalities. Nothing about me screams, "Oh my God, this guy's, we got to hire this guy. Look at that. We've got to have this guy."
Yeah.
Yet I got one good opportunity after another. I got one good opportunity after another. I was blessed to get the best years out of ESPN. I was there 16, and I believe 10 of those were the best years of the network. I think from 03 to 13, that was the absolute pinnacle of that network. It was the best place in the country to work. It's vastly different now, but I had the opportunity to be there for 16 years, 10 of them the best years in the network, in the network's history. Had an opportunity to cover Super Bowls, World Series, Final Fours, you name it. I had the opportunity to go. I hosted a 2-hour show every day for 16 years. And that takes an incredible toll on you, by the way. I always used to tell people it's like dog years. When you host a 2-hour daily live show, 1 year's like 7, bro. It is, the treadmill is on high and it never turns off. And you just have to keep up with it. And honestly, 10 years was enough. I should have come home after 10. But you just, you get golden handcuffs and you're like, let's do one more deal.
Yep.
Let's do one more deal.
One more deal.
Then next thing you know, I went to ESPN from Tampa with the sole intention of getting to Cleveland. I'm like, I'll build a national reputation as a Cleveland guy. And then after 5 years, one contract, I can come home. And, 5 turned into 8, turned into 12, turned into 16. My only real regret is that I didn't come home far sooner.
Right.
I love Cleveland. It's great to be here. I love being in the middle of the Browns and the Indians or Guardians and the Cavs and all that. So I've been incredibly blessed. But I also think that, if you do good, like you said, good things will be repaid to you. And I'm a perfect example of that. I've had breaks that I probably, my talent didn't warrant, but hopefully, the things that I've done to help others and to be try to be a positive influence wherever I could, it all paid off.
Yep. The day job for me is sales. And I tell everybody that I train, be likable. Likable is the best talent you can have, because they don't care who they work with, but they need to like you because they're stuck with you. So,
well, you've got that naturally. So you're lucky. It's really hard to be likable if you're not naturally likable. I know people that can switch into that gear, and I marvel at that because, I always thought that personality was baked into the cake, but I've seen people who are chameleon-like and who aren't necessarily the most pleasant people, but they come off in public settings or on air as being very likable. And I know otherwise because I've spent time with them in person and I've seen them enough to know what the real person is. And I just marvel at that. I'm like, wow, how can you do that? You flip this switch and become this likable character. But you're obviously a likable guy naturally, so it's a lot easier for you to do it. But that's the best advice you can give a young salesman. I just want to be pleasant.
I want to make a note to my wife that someone said I was likable. So take that to the bank, honey. There. So, all right. Cold pizza. I do a lot of cooking on the Dude. We do have a segment on Dude Network, a channel called Dude Food. So I'm going to ask you some Dude Food questions. Pizza. Do you put pineapple on your pizza?
Awesome.
Do you put pineapple on the pizza?
I don't as a preference.
There we go. That works.
Yeah,
Close
I
enough,
have,
Jay.
but not as a preference, but I have. Okay.
You're at a steakhouse. What kind of steak are we going with?
I'm going filet, largest cut they have,
Temp.
medium rare plus.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
That's so me, man. That's me.
Boom.
Dudes for life.
Dudes. We're food dudes. Yeah, I don't want to ruin them. I don't want to ruin a perfectly good piece of meat by overcooking it. I like it. I like the juices seared in. I'm not afraid of a little red. But I know people, when I say medium rare plus, some people are like, wait, what? Like, was there 50 shades of pink? But for me, medium rare, I've had some medium rares that's just a little too alive and kicking for me. But when I just go medium, sometimes it's overcooked and the flavor is lost. So the medium rare plus is just a way of letting the chef know closer to medium than medium rare, but I want to see some juice in there. I need that.
Yes. Okay. I can dig it. Yeah. I know the medium rare medium because, probably like you had to work 30 jobs to get through college, and me being a bartender server was it. It was a cool way to meet all the ladies though. So that was the perk of it. And a bonus, I got to know it's medium rare medium, the medium rare plus.
So, there you go.
Perk of the job. All right.
No question.
All right. If you're a beer guy, are we doing IPAs? We doing a light beer? We doing Oktoberfest? We doing seltzers? What's Jay drinking on game day?
Yeah, I'm mostly a light guy. I try to watch, my intake. I don't like heavy beers anyhow. The darks, the stouts, that stuff is, I don't know how people drink that, to be perfectly honest. I have friends that say, oh, that's so flavorful. Well, if it is, that's understandable, but it's just not, it doesn't appeal to my palate. I will say I don't drink coffee, so that might explain a lot too, but I'm definitely a lighter beer guy. And I definitely want it to be as little carbs and as little calories as I can, because those are what I call frivolous calories. Like you can sit around and drink 6 or 8 beers, and if you start adding that up, I would have rather had 2 steak dinners.
Hey, don't add them, man. Math is not your friend. Hey, Sundays are cheat days. We don't count points. We don't count numbers. The only numbers that counts is how many incompletions Baker didn't have because it's accurate, and how many points we're putting on the board, and how many times we left Nick Chubb off the field in 3rd and short.
Unbelievable. Maddening.
On that note, Jay, what's the Browns' record this year? What are we ending up?
I think we're going to be 12-5. And I don't know what that's going to get us. I don't know if that's going to win the division. I don't know if that's going to get a home playoff game, but I've maintained from jump that we're going to win 12 games and we're going to lose 5. I do the, ridiculous ritual like every other fan at the beginning of the year. And I count them all up and I pick the games and, and that's crazy because you always win some you're supposed to lose. You always lose some you're supposed to win. So far, I had us 3-2 to start the season with L's at Kansas City and at San Diego. And that's where we are. You can revise that week to week. You know a lot more about everybody in week 11. And I may change, like I originally had the Cardinals as a win. Well, you're looking at them now, they're 5-0. They weren't great yesterday against San Francisco. I thought the Niners got jobbed on that goal line call.
A lot of that yesterday.
Yeah, the officials, by the way, are all-time horrible. And I'm normally not a conspiracy theorist.
It's such a bad take. I hate it, but it's necessary sometimes.
I know it is, and I know it makes me sound like that guy, but I just know the NFL so well, Tony. I know what makes those Park Avenue offices churn, and they love storylines. I mean, just look at the way they schedule on Sunday night. Look at the way they schedule that. They love storylines.
Drama sells.
One of the storylines of the NFL over the last 30 years is that for some reason, the second largest market in the country that owns the NFL has not embraced their sport. How can it be? New York has embraced it. Chicago, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Washington, Dallas, all of these top 10 cities have put their arms around the NFL and squeezed the life out of it. But LA's been like, no, we're good. we're
they had
good.
they had more Browns fans there. They even said
They
in the
did.
broadcast, they said, "Hey, that we're finally hearing some Chargers, not Rams."
Yes.
They're like, "Hey, we're finally hearing some Chargers fans." If it wasn't for Herbert,
I know.
Herbert might be the thing that saves LA. Because without Herbert, it'd be Deadville.
Well, I'll tell you what their ultimate dream, shut the door and make sure there's no recording devices running. Here's their storyline for 2021.
Okay.
The LA Chargers and the LA Rams in Los Angeles for Super Bowl 56.
It could happen.
If it does, they got some splaining to do.
There better be some really tight officiating down the stretch. I'll say that.
But see, there's no better way to control the outcome of an NFL game than holding flags and pass interference flags. You can't review them.
Do they still call pass interference? Asking for a franchise. If
it fits their narrative, sure. So there's no more certain way to ensure the outcome of a close football game than a holding flag and a pass interference flag. And you saw the holding call on Treader yesterday where he's getting almost decapitated. Okay. I mean, the defender's hand is on his throat and he's doing everything he can just to create some distance. You saw the defensive pass interference play. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be we're watching big time wrestling. It's all rigged. But I'm telling you, this league loves storylines. And if we end up getting two LA teams in an LA Super Bowl, when it's only happened, I think, once in the history of the NFL, has the home team played in a Super Bowl, and that was last year.
I was going to say,
and
Tampa
the Buccaneers won. What a storyline.
Yeah.
Tom goes to Tampa and wins at home.
With Gronk, gets hammered on the boat.
At 43. At 43. What a storyline. What a great storyline.
Yes.
So the league, and they'd be lying if they've told you they haven't thought about this and probably openly discussed this. But what better storyline? You got this city, LA, the second largest city in America. I'd say it also has the largest Hispanic fan base in America. And what a story if we can have an LA Super Bowl with two LA teams played in Los Angeles. You got to love us now, LA. You got to come out of the woodwork now.
Yeah.
So I listen, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen, because whether or not that is what they want or it isn't what they want, it's always going to look at like that's what they want. And then you can go back to the Browns and the Chargers and you can look at that pass interference call that wasn't, and you can say you make a couple of those during the regular season, you get them home field advantage through the playoffs, you make one here or there in the playoff games, and you got your wish. And I hope that doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't happen, because the NFL, it'd be a bad look on the NFL. They would push that narrative. They would push that storyline. Oh, it was Hollywood script.
Could you imagine that week up before the Super Bowl, like media week? Oh, it'd be a mess.
I wouldn't watch. I wouldn't be interested. I'd turn it off and I would question what I see forever.
Well, by that time,
I don't want that to happen.
Cavs are going to be in second seed in the East by then, and we're going to be watching championship basketball. Too much.
Yeah.
On that note, I think we just need to focus on the Cardinals.
Yep, that's a good idea. I like that plan.
Well, Jay, you're an absolute blessing to have here, man. This has been an absolute blast. I hope you had fun. I certainly did. Anytime we can sit there and squash all the nonsense with the Browns, it's nice to have a voice of reason and a good hairline. That's, as we're missing in one of these here. I'm glad people trust the guy with the good hairline. They don't trust the bald fat guy with the sketchy, uneven goatee. But with that being said, I thank you so much for joining in here. You look good in the Bowling Green.
Thanks, Tony.
They're doing big things here. We hope to talk to you soon. So glad to have you back in the Cleveland market. It's nice to have someone like you representing the teams that I grew up loving. And I know I'm not just speaking for myself, being a fanboy. It was quite the ruckus down here in Tuscarawas County when we all found out you're coming back, because we needed a shot in the arm. So Without that being said, dudes and dudeettes, one of the coolest dudes I've ever met, Jay Crawford.
Thanks, Tony.
See you, dude.